Hello, everybody, and welcome back to pYanodons, the playthrough. It's your ghostified gamer. Okay, we got a story to tell you. Oh, short one. Well, I don't have any antimony, or I don't have. This is Nexilate. I don't have any anywhere on the map, so I think that. I explored too. I was looking. I went all the way out here in the car, all around. And Nexilate has a distinctive light blue color, and so it's not difficult to miss, you know. So I went on to the pYanodon Discord, and I said, and I was looking for, information. Yeah, so you can see there's nothing. No Nexilate. So I was looking at it for information on our little dig site. How's it work? I thought that you just plop it down and you get Nexilate. No, this is the miner for Nexilate. You cannot mine this with any other with a miner at all. Like nothing. So you have to have a patch of this. Well, I cheated it in, and this is the the command here for cheating in a patch of ore. The only thing is you need to find the name, the tag for the ore. So all that to create this. Now, I didn't code that. I got that a long time ago when I was playing a mod that was I was testing a mod for somebody and play testing it. So, and the only thing is it makes a square, so there's not that randomness, This is noise. The way Factorio does it is it's a noise algorithm. So it makes the curvy stuff and then it plops it right. Now, I think the patches get generated as you go, so there should be some Nexilate around. I don't know if because of the way there's so many ores and rocks and all this crap, it's going to be rare, but it should pop up. But if I can't find it, I need it, because here's the problem I'm having is I'm making trains, which we'll get into. We're relying on a huge amount of tar to get this little Nexilate right here. So basically, this will shut all this down from here. Let's see. No, we need to purify the Nexilate. So all this stuff comes out. We won't get any more saline water, and this comes out. So, a little bit. It did some landfilling, by the way. Lots of landfilling. So, and my tar is getting munched. It's going bye-bye. And I need the tar for other things, So, this thing needs Dig-o-saurus. Ooh, what's this? I have 4 Dig-o-saurs. Cross species between Arthurians and Fadians, suited to mining hidden Nexilate ore. I don't know why they say hidden. They're able to collect and extract small pieces of Nexilate from, I think that's supposed to be from patches where machines would suffer severe degradation. Are you ready for this? A Nexilate miner. It's a little Dig-o-saurus. 1, 2, 3. Look at this thing. Look at his tail bounces as he's digging the Nexilate. Okay. So this is a 12 million patch. It's probably going to last forever, so we'll leave it here. This thing will fill up with 1,000 Nexilate in this little thing here. But I don't know why it says 20,000 raw Nexilate. I think it's I think it's 50 times something. I don't know. I think it's a multiplier because if you pull these out, it's 1 Nexilate is compressed into whatever. And I don't know why this is going yellow. And the problem in not so much of a problem is you do have to feed them meat. So I'm going to have a train bringing this thing meat from our Vraux rendering. Nice. So I got this case sitting here, and it's just going crazy. And so that's that. We got Nexilate. And yeah, it's unfortunate I had to cheat this in, but I can only produce so much tar, and trains require Nexilate because we need the iron Nexilate antimony special alloy for the shafts. And then the shaft is used in the transmission, and we need, 2 of those. So yeah, good luck trying to make trains without having Nexilate, in a large supply. Zing! Oh my gosh. Hello. Sorry for the cut. I had to stop the recording. And then when I got back to this, I started just working on the base. And so I've got a ton of stuff that I did off screen between that last cut, putting our little buddy Dig-o-saurus out, and now. So as you can see, set up a train. We got a raw Nexilate train. Yay! It's on the network. And I went ahead and ripped up, help! I went ahead and ripped up all this over here. There it is. Woo! It's gone. And yeah, I got, you know what I did? I accidentally did. When I ripped this up, I ripped up the water pipe, and my steel production shut down because I didn't realize the limestone wasn't getting produced. So yeah. And as you can see, yeah, I've been building some stuff. Okay, if steel is running, I've been building. All right, so yeah, this inefficient tar process is gone. And I'm feeding one of the Nexilate cleaners to get the clean Nexilate. And then we've got the smelting and all that. And look at that. Holy moly. Yeah, this one's not running. Oh, this is a 1-to-1. And I could put another one here, but I have to reroute some pipes. And I'm not going to do that. Okay, we're going to get to this, though. All right, so let's get back to our Nexilate. And yeah, I want to make a few more of these here, but it's not important right now. I have some guts. These guys will take guts too. If you mouse over this, it says guts, meat, and workers' food, which the workers' food is quite involved, and I'm not going to bother with that right now. I just want to, we're trying to get through, to get to the better tech, and then we can start doing some crazy stuff. So, but future, you have to think of the future here, because this meat isn't going to be here forever. The only way we're getting meat is from Vraux rendering, and that's only if we run latex to force, that rendering, squeezing that latex out of those Vraux, So there'll have to be some form of an animal build where it's rendering parts. However, the next science pack is requiring rendering of animals, which is going to be crazy. Okay. Now, when it comes to an animal build where we only need meat for this, and for example, we could use our biomass burner to get rid of any extra biomass, like brains and whatever. So we just turn that into biomass and then burn it off. Done deal. Let's see. Nexilate mine. I got that. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention, I think I forgot to mention this, is that this machine just came out a little while ago. And so I think the ore was also new. And that's why I didn't have any in my area that I explored. So it's possible it's somewhere further out. It's random as to when it generates. Hopefully it'll generate. It may not ever generate, though, so I'm not too sure about how that's going to work. I can't imagine it not generating because, if you had a current playthrough, you'd never get this. But, we got the command, all that. So, let's go over some other things. Nickel plate. I have been busy. Now, the train system isn't the way I usually do things. This is just me trying to get things done so we can get to the next science pack, and then we'll start focusing on cleaner builds, more robust, stuff. And it's tough to get that to that point in pYanodons. But this is off a little bit because I had to clear this stuff here. So the way to fix that is to push this back. So nickel plate is on the network. It's, I'm using TSM right now. We'll get into LTN in a minute and how I'm going to learn that within this playthrough. I have a garbage collection train. We'll get into that in a minute. So this is for our Vitra alloy. Okay. Now, the syngas is also on the network. It wasn't, I don't think it was before, but it is now. It's delivering to key areas. And you saw the iron nexolite mess over here. Iron nexolite, what is it? The antimony special alloy on the network. It's, whenever you see an S, stop with an S on it, it's on the network. And we also have the intermetallics is on the network. This is what you have to do in TSM in order to request stuff. You have to have a requester stop, which has an R on it, and then you'll see all these combinators and lights with different signals and things. LTN has one combinator, I think, and then it just, supplies, you can request or supply anything. So I think it's a little simpler for little things like this. In fact, LTN will shine in this playthrough, and I'm on the brink of learning it and getting it implemented. So it's going to be fun, and I have a project which we'll go over for me to learn that. Now we got the antimony is on the network now as well. Supplier stop, antimony coming in. This, I need to rework that mine to process into the G grade 4. There it goes. It was a bootstrap trying to, get the intermetallics going. Or I think it was we needed the antimony in order to get those other things going, So that's going. Or that's on the network. And this needs to be beefed up. Vitralloy. I'm going to call it Vitrilloy. I think that's what it's called. On the network. Done deal. And, of course, you see those pretty belts. Aren't those sexy? Unloading and loading is a major problem right now because we don't have the technology in order to, do what we need to do. So, we have trains, and that's great. We have long-distance travel, but we still have issues, and we're just going to have to deal with it. There's nothing around it. Aromatics on the network. All the way down here. Yeah, I've been busy. There it is. Sharing the, train track with this. Now, I don't want to use the single lane rail. This is not how I'm going to run this playthrough. This is just, I'm trying to patch things together and get things connected so I don't have to run around like a fool. So it'll be more cleaner. I'm trying to use the current base to build the next science pack and other projects that are going to be coming up. So don't think this is how it's going to go. All right. Oh, the big one. This was bugging me for I don't know how long. Tin and wood logs. Now we're out of wood logs. Now why is that? Because we ran out of ash. Okay, so ash is gone. And this is going to come out and we're going to replace it with an ash generator. I have an idea for that. I can't remember. What was I going to use? I was going to do something over here to get the ash going, but this is definitely, we're going to use this for going forward, but, this will be outposted correctly somewhere else. Again, this was just a bootstrap and a test area for the wood stuff. So, but I'm still going to use this because we're going to need it, for our base. Okay. Yes, the massive yard. This is what TSM forces you to do. And I know why people, there's a good use for TSM and there's a good use for LTN. And if you can use them both in a playthrough, you're going to save yourself a lot of headaches. LTN can handle all this with 1 yard with a couple trains in it, right? Maybe 10 trains. And you're not tying up the trains for specific things, right? In pYanodons, you've got thousands of little items that you're going to have to shuttle around. That's what LTN is for. When it comes to mining and high throughput, TSM. Okay, I can't stress that enough. LTN is, I think, easier to scale as you get further out, and TSM is easier to start up. And also, it's easier to manage your resources with TSM. When you start getting into the little bits and pieces and all the little gases and stuff, like for instance, gases, I'd probably do TSM, for the most part. because there could be contamination, which I've heard about, and we'll have to look into that. Okay, so this is just to get us to point B, which is, later on down the road. Okay, so, liquid salt. I got a train coming out here. I got the power poles going all over the place. That's fine. We have liquid salt. I have 11,000 liquid salt here. This is out of fuel. I'm just kind of manually running this over here. And then I put some fuel in here. I got some kerosene, a lot, too much kerosene, really. And that's what we're going to be working on in this episode really quick. Now, okay. The next project that I'll be working on, I got a car here, on my own, off screen, and I'll showcase it when I'm done. I saw this on the pYanodons Discord. This guy's a genius. I can't remember who it was, and I don't want to say their name anyway, just because I don't want people go on the Discord and say, hey, blah blah blah, I don't, it's just, put someone's name out there unless you ask them. And I will ask him, hey, I'm going to feature your build in my thing. I'm going to rebuild what you got. So this is where we're going to use LTN. I'm going to learn LTN with this system. It is going to be a Hub 2.0. So the concept here is I'm going to have a yard up here. And I didn't look at I just looked at a picture of what he had, and I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. So we're going to have a yard of empty trains here. LTN is based on empty trains going and getting something, dropping it off, coming back and sitting and waiting for the next request. There's going to be two things going on here. One, we're going to couple our TSM to this LTN project here, this hub. TSM is going to drop stuff off. LTN is going to, the trains that are on LTN are going to pick the things up and distribute them, because there's so many machines and things that need all the items that we're creating currently. And also we're going to have even more items to create within this that LTN makes total sense. So we have little bump outs here, and what's going to happen is and it's going to be 1-1 trains, and it's going to be, a one-way system. So we'll have a yard up here of empty trains or wherever. They're going to go and pick up raw materials and bring in whatever else and bring them to the machines that are requesting them. Now, those trains, this is going to be, and then they're going to loop back around into the yard. However, we might have an instance where a train will pick up something from a machine, an intermediate that needs to go to another machine, wherever that may be. And we're going to have a feed, like a feeder, maybe 2 or 3 lanes of this stuff. I don't know. But so we're going to have a bypass of the yard, because there might be trains sitting in there, or whatever. So there's going to be a yard. It the trains will go get the intermediate, the base products, plates and things like that. And then they're going to distribute. However, there might be something that needs to be distributed from one machine to another, and that's where LTN is going to help kind of move that stuff around if the machines can't be grouped together to share, inserters. And there's going to be a lot of instances of that, like, for example, brakes. Brakes aren't going to, that's going to be made somewhere, within this network, and we got to deliver it to where trains are being made, and shafts, and, the transmissions. We're going to have fish oil and all that stuff. So that's what I'm going to be working on and learning LTN with. And that means I'm going to have to rebuild the fish stuff eventually. That's on the list here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there's another, I went ahead and did this here. I'm cracking up. I love this. I love this thing, man. So we've got the aerial discharging base and our aerial drones, what are they called? Aerial turbines. And I made 4 of these things. They're super slow, but if you spread these out just enough so you can get the maximum stored energy within these little turbines, these aerial turbines, you can do quite a bit of power. This thing has got, let's get out of there. We've got 500 megajoules of stored power in this thing. And I'm running just these radars to, simulate a load, or to create a load. These are really versatile for a far-flung outpost. Now, the more of these little guys you have, the more power will be, supplied. Seeing that they're slow and, they take a little while to discharge. Now watch this thing. If you click on it, it had 6 megajoules in there, and it unloaded now, and then it's got 0.05 megajoules, and then eventually it's going to go away, and then it's okay, I'm done, and it starts collecting its power again. So these are a really good thing if you want to get some quick far-flung outposts and you don't want to run power poles out to it. You just want to do a quick thing. I'm gonna keep an eye out for instances of using these. These are really cool. Look at this thing and just start to cry. However, this is going to be really cool because we're going to be automating lab equipment and other things that we're going to need to do the creatures and stuff going forward. So the more we automate now, the better we get later. And even if the stuff gets antiquated, we can upgrade it or we can just rebuild it, and, eventually we'll get the better things. So the other problem is that we don't have like great inserters, unloading is terrible, like I said, and all that. So we're in a kind of a bind where either I build a hub and kill myself on that only to have it ripped apart and redone later, or I do the science pack and suffer by having the belt base the way it is and get the science pack done, and then we can get better things and then do a proper hub. But you're better off doing the hub because it's gonna be struggle bus the whole way, So we're gonna do the science pack after the hub, okay? Now, just looking at this thing, we already have the battery, which is great, and you saw how that battery build was. It was quite involved. Now, it doesn't matter which one of these you do; they're all a pain in the butt, but they're fun. It's gonna be fun. The lab. The poor alien sample, it's requiring this biological sample. If you look at this thing, oh, well, bone meal, flowers, petri dish, urea, Relaceous seeds, which is fine. We can do that. We got a build for that, actually. We have a build for urea. We can do incubated petri dish, no problem. Flowers. Bone meal is going to be something new. We're going to have to do some rendering on that. Well, how do we do that? Well, we take bones and we steam them up. Okay, how do we get bones? Well, there's quite a few ways, I'm sure. How do we? Oh, maybe we render fish, and that's it. So there you go. You need a fish build. So I'm going to work on that. I'm going to rebuild that thing. So that's how you get the fish right there. So that was just that biological sample. Now we need the ground sample, and wait, what happened here? Ground sample. What happened? Oh, here it is. Get out of there. It didn't pop down. Oh, we need rich clay. Holy cow. In soil. And here I've been getting rid of rich clay. Ash. Oh, we're fine. Yeah, ash and let's get that up on there anyway. Oh, get out of there. Okay. That's fine. We can do that. No problem. So that concludes that one. Now I have these assemblers in here. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the advanced ones yet. Depends on how far I get with the hub. The first thing I'm going to be building is the automated. Well, we got to get the transmissions, shafts, and things like that. Brakes. That's going to be the first stuff I automate in the hub. So then, okay, so that's the lab stuff. Now we've got this thing where we got to use an incubator. We've done the substrate. We know we can look at that. Flour. Now we got an animal, a cotton gut, and then this plasmids, which is right here. I broke it out already. Glassware, the lab equipment. We've done that already, and another incubated thing, and bacteria, which isn't too bad. We've done that. So here we have equipment chassis. We have the optical set now, which is going to require that beryllium or whatever that stuff is. We have our rubber coming in. And then we have small parts. So we're going to have to automate the small parts and make that an outpost. That's going to be going everywhere. And so that, we've done it. It's just a matter of automating it now. So what was that? That was this. Oh, yeah. Then I'm wondering about this. Here, this. Oh. Ooh, here's the subcritical water. I've seen this. Yeah, we've seen this. So it's in a reformer. Ooh. We've done the liquid manure. We have that. So it's another build. And the critical water, believe it or not, comes from biomass under pressure. So there you go. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting setting that up. That is what? That was this. Oh, dear. Okay, so that takes care of that one. And then we've got the animal sample, which is right here. And I don't think I need to go any further with this one. We've got the plasmids right here. That's being used twice. So this is interesting because it's using skin and bones, which comes from fish, and the rest of it is brains and stuff. The brains do not come from fish. We don't get brains from fish. And we don't get lard from fish. You know, so Vraux, we get the guts, we get the meat, we get the brain. Fish, we get the bones and the skin. The lard, on the other hand, I have no idea where that's coming from. And nothing's coming up here. What is this? Why are we not getting lard here? I'm confused. Wow, look at that. Improved cage simic. Rec A. Oh, here. Right here. Caged aug. There you go. So the augs have to be rendered. And a caged aug gives us the blood. So we're going to have an aug build separate from our battery build to do the next, the other piece of the science pack as well. Oh, we get skin from an aug. Good. So we get the lard. Oh, okay. I see. So basically an aug will give us the next science pack as well. So we're going to have to do an aug build for that as well as a fish build. I think, well, you know what? We don't need a fish build then. So we just do an aug build. So you can see where this is going. Welcome to pYanodons. The rabbit hole never ends. So there you go. Okay. So I'm going to beef this up here. I might move it and just keep the mining here and then move this out to somewhere else. This needs to be beefed up so we can, make things. I've got this ready to go. I need to get that other train. It's still running around. I haven't gotten around to this yet, but this plastic's got to go on the network. And then I got to get the native flora on the network as far as, being an ore, mineable ore. Rubber, I have to do that as well. And I got to beef up the antimony, like I said. So this here has to be trained on a TSM network. I'll have to push this up and put it up there. So yeah, as you can see, this train is still driving around meaninglessly, basically. I got to get more batteries. Oh, and then the bottom half of this base here, where I have aluminium, lead, and titanium, I was thinking of training these up. Just kind of a quick, little train system here. That way I can get rid of these belts going this way. And as you can see, there's the low unloader for the tin ore. And then also this has to be trained up. And so I'm trying to get belts. I'm trying to convert the belts into trains because we have a train network now. So it's just a matter of methodically going through and getting this one done, So most likely I'll be getting rid of the borax here and working on, I'll cut the belts, over here and bleed it out. And then I'll get the titanium and lead and the aluminium trains along with the borax train. Because the borax train can go here and the aluminium train can go here. But I want to make sure I have enough room. And I'll branch off of this here. Like I said, I don't care about, as long as the trains are signaled, they don't back into each other, block each other, I'm okay with it. But I prefer to do 2 lanes and then branch, out so they're not blocking each other. I don't like using single lanes at all. If you have a signal that's incorrect, you're like, what's going on? So I'll be trying to clean this mess up here of all these belts and stuff. The iron, I could just do a point-to-point train from here to here. But why bother? The belts are there. It's fine. Okay. I'm going to meet you over by a special place near and dear to my heart. We'll carry on over there. Yep. It is time, folks. It is time. Oh, yeah. I hit a rock on my way here. I have bled out this power system here, and we are going to do some new and improved power. I have 503 megawatts on this, but that doesn't really count because these are sitting here operating, but when the base ramps up, there's not enough throughput here. We need better technology for the geothermal or a speed module, you know, to put in there. And that's a million years away. So we have ourselves a new and improved coal plant. I slept on this. I don't know if I mentioned it in a prior episode. I've got so much stuff I'm doing. I went into Hellmod and did the best I could under Hellmod's constraints here. I put in that I want 3 heat exchangers. How many pressure pumps do I need, and how many coal plants do I need to support that? As you can see, it's 5, 3, and 3. If you mess with these numbers, what happens, or mess with this number here for the heat exchanger, it changes this. It goes 2, 1. It goes 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1. So the coal power plant is not a direct, it's not a perfect ratio to the heat exchangers here. Excuse me. And but the pressure pumps are kind of almost 1-to-1, but they're not. So you just have to go with what you got, right? Now with power, usually just brute force it. You know, I don't want to overbuild on something though. So, but you can throw machines down and see what fails very easily in power, because it's going to run. It's just not going to run, you know, maybe the way you expected it. The one thing I don't want to do is put down too less of these, you know, not enough. These I can stack all over. And these, you don't want to overbuild it. You don't want to underbuild it either. So the only thing that Hellmod isn't resolving for me is how many turbines I can attach to this, but we can figure that out very easily by taking this number, how much pressurized steam we generate. It's 300 every 10 seconds, so that's 30 a second. Okay, 30 a second, and then we mouse over this and we get 60 a second. 30 a second, 60. So I have to look at that because sometimes it's hard to get it in your head. But I might be able to power up, you know, more. I think it's maybe 2-to-1. I don't know. It might be 2-to-1. Now, the problem with power is it's very difficult to test it unless you have a load. So all the power has to be disconnected for me to see how this goes, including, you know, the geothermal power that we have. So that has to be cut off. I'll just cut that power line off, and boom, we'll be running on this only, and then I can see under stress what this is going to do. And then you keep an eye on what these things are doing. So this is the build. I kind of mocked it up. I had to do this off screen because, you know, it's new to me. So each one of these is tied to the back with the salt. The molten salt comes out this way. We have belts for ash. And then we have tanks to store steam power for surges, you know. Not going to rely on them. It just, you know, I want it to run and have enough steam in there and all that. So we're going to tank up the hot stuff going out or coming in. And then we're going to tank up the steam, the pressurized steam, and then we're going to tank up the salt water. We do need to have buffer tanks for the salt, hot and it's I think it's 1,000 or something. Whatever it comes out of here, I don't know. This is 950 C, but it comes out at minimum 5. Oh yeah, okay, 5,000 C. Yeah. Heat capacity 2 kilojoules. Okay. So, yeah, I'm tanking these things up as a shock absorber, you know, so that everything can export and import and kind of do whatever. Here's our pressure tanks, our pressure generators here. There's our water. Okay, so let's rip it. Oh, and so we still need the ash processors. So I'm planning on doing with this is the ash coming out of this. I'm going to belt it to our base, and I'm going to inject it to where that one case is, which is over here, right here. So a train's going to come up. That's why I want to get rid of all this mess. The train's going to come up here, and it's going to dump our ash off here. And so we're going to prioritize, obviously, the train. The train's going to deliver to here. And we're always using ash. What are we using ash for? This only, right? Yeah. Yeah, What is... Oh, the trees. Yeah, the trees. Yeah, never mind. So I'm going to rip this up, and we're going to put this in and fire it up. Whew, that's a lot of stuff. Let's bring my car. Okay, so the one of the considerations I'm thinking here is that I don't want to bottleneck this into this, but this needs to be on this side because our coal is here. So I'm thinking of our hot molten is coming down here like this, and this stuff is coming from here. You know, we got to recycle this back in here, right? This has to be positioned in such a way that we can, you know, route these pipes. Well, this is going here on this side here. That's why I put this here. The molten stuff is, you know, unfortunately, these two are here. I would have rather had the water in the front and the salts on the either end here. You know, I don't know. It's either, you know, 6 1/2 dozen the other, right? So let's, with that being said, let's go ahead and copy this monster here. And what I want to do is basically put it like right up close to the belt here. And I don't want to obstruct the patch, even though this patch is probably going to last 10 years. Literally. Okay. Let's get our pipes in here first. Okay, there we go. Now let's copy this mess over here. And I have molten salt ready to go, too. I don't know how much. Oh, it's like 7,100, I think. So it'll have to do. Okay, our hot stuff is here. And I'm going to go a little further down. Maybe here is good. And, oh, I'm off by a tile. Look at that. I'm okay with that. And then our cooled stuff is here. Oh, I wanted to put a pump in here, actually. Because it's going to equalize. Darn it. That's hot. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to go in here, actually. Oh, I screwed up. Control Z. Control Z. Control Z. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to go into the tank. Let me turn off the nanobots here. Okay. Paste. I wanted to pump into the tank. The hot is here. And so we've got 1, 2. Okay, there we go. And yeah, the pump, what I want done, you know, the pumps force the, you know, the pipes to be empty. You know, instead of it equalizing. And I don't want equalizing. I want the material in here so I can see it. Okay, and then we've got the salt here. What's this now? Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm okay with this. Oh, I could put a pump. Wait a minute. Yeah, I could put pumps here as well, but I can design that later. What I really want is, yeah, you know what? I can move this up and put a pump in. How about that? Let's do that. We'll do this. And we'll copy that. Then put that there. And we can pump out. This I'm not worried about because the machines will grab what they need usually. And we'll go like that. Pull that down. There we go. That should do. That should do. Hopefully this will work. You know, until you get it on the network there. Okay. The water will come down and we'll be fine there. Ouch. See, this is what I didn't want. Now, I could move this. It's not like I can't move this. I wanted to be able to put more of these. You cannot pipe this up. I tried. Okay, we can get 3 on there. So I'm assuming that I don't know how many we'll be able to run. That's why I want to be able to have the room to test it. However, like I said, we can move these. And I don't think we're going to need this many ash separators going forward. And I can reconfigure this. In fact, I want to redo this anyway because I got a little crazy up here. And I do want to recover the ores that we're getting from this. I kind of shut that off. And I'm just doing a pie burner. You know, pie burners are just to get you through, you know. Turn that on. Now, I want to also make a note that this is the tech that we unlocked with the last science pack. And I said a long time ago, I don't know if you remember, you want to stop and you do the research and you want to implement that research, you know, the technology. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to implement that technology. The biomass burners are going to help us out when we go to get to this next phase as well, because we'll have all this extra biomass that we might have to get rid of. So we definitely want to get those in play. The oil burners I'm not too worried about implementing because, you know, well, it's the kerosene. What is it? The kerosene build, basically. I'm not too worried about implementing those because, you know, we don't have any spare running around. So I'm all right with it not implementing the kerosene things. Although it would be nice if those burned anything, you know, that had a fuel value, though. Okay, there's our water. Okay, now we got to power this thing up and get the coal to it. I'll work on the power now. Oh, there we go. Getting that pressurized water. 600, 600, 600. Part 1 done. All right, let's flow some belts and get the coal going, and then we'll bring the salt train in when we're ready for it. I'm going to terminate each belt into this thing for simplicity here. And I got to get this thing. Let's get these in here. Okay. Feed it. All right, now I'm going to move this down. Originally, I was playing around with the design here. And let me get this stuff here. I was kind of playing around. I was going to bring the salt in up higher, and then I'm like, man, I don't have room. I had to, you know, get some initial designing before I started an episode, because the episode doesn't go very well if you don't have a plan, you know. Okay, here's our salt input here, and we have a pump here, and we're gonna go from here. Okay, salt train. I really enjoy. This is a really cool system. I really like this. This is very well done. And we're going to go empty on that. And we'll go there. There it is. Salt. Here, look at that. They're firing up, baby. This is badass. Now, they take a while to spin up. Oh, I forgot the ash belts. Look at that. Not a worry on that. They stack to 1,000. There we go. Oh, I might need to put something better on there. Yeah, we'll see. I might have to do 2 belts. There we go. They are fired up. Power output. So, you can see that the power output isn't very high on this. Okay, how are you doing? Why are you not working? Molten salt. Oh, here. There we go. Now you got molten salt at temperature. 1,000 degrees. Okay, now. Train left. Okay, so now I'm thinking I don't want to disconnect this yet. Holy cow, is that cool? That's creating some salt, some ash, man. Let me tell you. Now you can see the steam is building up, which means that we could probably hold more, you know, put more of these on, you know. So let's go ahead and tie these in while I'm standing here. Okay, that should do it. You need more than one of those mini loaders, those crappy ones. Now I'll export the ash. And these are barely running. I mean, this is crazy. So, under load, though, these are going to, you know... Well, this load will not change. It'll always do... This is the burn rate. You know. Now... Another thing I forgot to mention, which I'm glad I remembered, is that what I'd like to do is the secondary crushers and take this coal and process it into the better coal and then feed that in. And I want to experiment with that now that we have this better power, because we can now support that, you know, with 118 megawatts. Let's say it's 80% of that, you know, let's say it's 80, 90 megawatts. Let's say 90 megawatts for this one thing. And let's say we can put 3 of these on, so 90, 270 megawatts. You know, 2, 4, 6, 7, almost 800 megawatts with this system. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. Cool. So there we go. That was the treat for the episode here. I wanted to go over, you know, the things I've done, keep you updated, you know. And let's see how we're doing now. Okay, so this is going to shut off. And I don't have any other ones. That is cool. Oh, man, I'm a big fan of this. So, biomass can be done the same way. And we can use probably the same system here, you know, to burn it off. The only thing is we need a power load, you know. So... but the biomass, I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll burn it off. It'll eventually go, you know. So this is going to be consistent. Oh, I forgot to do this one here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's get this one. We can go on the same. Oh, I'm out of belt, so that's up here. What happened? Oh, ran out of salt. How did that... Oh, you know what's happening? That's what's happening. There you go. So we have plenty of pressure in here to handle what we have to handle. That is amazing. Oh, look, the animation ceased. Look at that. Holy cow. So we literally are at idle power. 45958. Now, you know, remember, this is not under a massive load of power. You know, like, we're not running the base right now. It's just idle power. So we have 858 megawatts with all our little fun little projects that we got going on. Well, this has got to go, but yeah, look at this thing here. There it is right there. It's only doing 6.6. So you can see that this is taking precedence over this. Now, future-wise, so what I'm going to do off screen is disband this over here. This whole thing's got to go. Everything, except our hydro plant. We're leaving that there. All this is going to go. So that's going to simplify all these belts over here now. And we're going to push out this way. You know, we're going to have it here now. And also what's going to simplify is all this mess. And then the ash will be we'll prioritize the ash into a train, and the train will come over here and deliver right here. Now, we're only going here, you know, so, I mean, it'd be nice to just kind of bring the train up right by next to aluminium over here and deliver it here. Now, we do need ash for asphalt. I'd like to do some asphalt, you know, for walking around and stuff, especially when I'm doing this mess down here, wherever it is here. I want to put asphalt down. Heck yeah. Okay. So, I'll be working on some different things, and like how I'm going to run this series, I guess, for a little while, if not for forever, is I'll try and give you a base update and, you know, what I've worked on off screen. And then we'll do something new technology or build something for the science packs, you know, or, you know, like that. Maybe I'll, you know, because the LTN thing, I'm just going to be beating my head against my desk for, you know, and trying to get that all set up. So I'll showcase that when I got some progress. But we'll work on like a science thing, you know, try and knock a little bit out, you know, do some kind of building. Maybe it's, you know, like I said, pulling the iron out and doing an outpost on it, you know, outposting that and bring the ore in, play it out, you know, basically, and all the other fun stuff that goes with it. Okay, that does it. I am super stoked about this. So what I'm going to do is build more of these and put them out. And then, like I said, rip the old power up, and I'm going to stockpile the ash first into a case to a train, and then to the ash separators here. I'm going to redo this whole thing. It's going to be simplified. We're not going to need many of these. Look at that, how it's stocked. It's awesome. I love it. All right, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.